Aurangzeb Alamgir, the sixth Mughal emperor, ruled over one of the largest and the most powerful empires in Indian history. The empire was an economic powerhouse unmatched in its time. Under his reign, the Mughal Empire contributed a mind-bending 25% of the world's total GDP, comparable to superpowers like the USA and China today. His annual revenue, when adjusted to modern economic terms, translates to an astonishing £20 trillion. An economic powerhouse indeed. Yet, despite this immense power and administrative brilliance, Aurangzeb's legacy is overshadowed by a portrayal of his as a ruthless tyrant. A narrative shaped by the powerful kingdoms and elites to sow division in his empire, and later collaborating with their British masters, they created discord for personal gain. To understand Aurangzeb, we must look past this negative portrayals and deception. Imagine a vast and thriving empire, teeming with cultural richness and a diverse array of people from various backgrounds and beliefs. The Mughal Empire, one of the largest in India, was home to Muslims, Hindus, Christians and many others living side by side. It was a place where different traditions, languages and customs merged, creating a unique and vibrant society. However, with such an expansive and multifaceted empire came a monumental challenge, like how must one maintain peace, security and order across vast territories with so many different groups and interests. The answer lay in a strategic use of resources carefully planned to safeguard the empire's prosperity. From the military that stood guard at the borders to the infrastructure that connected cities and villages, the empire's needs were vast and varied. These resources were not just needed for the defense but to also ensure the smooth functioning of the state, from agriculture to trade, education to religious affairs. And to fund these needs, the empire turned to various methods of taxation, including the mandatory religious donation zakat for Muslim subjects only. This blend of resource management helped the empire flourish for centuries. In Aurangzeb's royal court, discussions of governance often involved a diverse group of advisors and officials, both Muslims and non-Muslims, who played pivotal roles in the administration, with the likes of Raja Jai Singh, Raja Ram Singh, Raja Kishan Singh, Raja Chhatar Singh, Durgadas Rathore and many more, each overseeing a specific aspect of the vast empire. However, none of the non-Muslim officials and subjects were required to pay the zakat or were forced to join the army. Their choice for serving Aurangzeb was voluntary, as it served strategic advantages. It provided status, protection, economic benefits and a means to secure their territorial influence within the empire. The involvement of these Hindu officials in key administrative roles underscores and reflects the nuanced and respectful relationship between Aurangzeb and his Hindu subjects, which shows a level of mutual respect and collaboration in their interactions. So what made Aurangzeb to reintroduce the Jizya tax? In the Mughal Empire, especially under Emperor Aurangzeb, a tax called Jizya was implemented. This tax was paid annually by non-Muslims who did not contribute to the Islamic charitable tax known as zakat. The reasoning behind this tax was that non-Muslims, like everyone else in the empire, benefited from the protection, resources, and peace provided by the state. However, they did not have the same mandatory duties, such as joining the army or contributing to the religious upkeep of the state, that Muslims did. Just like modern governments, the Mughal Empire needed to ensure everyone's protection and maintain essential services. The Jizya tax was not meant to punish or oppress non-Muslims but to ensure that everyone who benefited from the empire's resources contributed their fair share. It's similar to how we pay taxes today for public services like the army, police, roads, and schools. Have you ever wondered why international students often pay higher tuition fees than local students? Or why foreign visitors pay extra in visa fees or health surcharges and have other restrictions applied when they travel to another country? In countries like the United Kingdom, international students are charged higher fees than local students, sometimes as much as 3 to 4 times more. The same goes for hospitals. In places like the United States, foreign patients often face higher healthcare fees than locals, even though they receive the same treatment. These differences in costs often stem from the idea that people don't contribute into the system the same way the local do but still benefit from these services available. Therefore, it's only fair that they contribute to the system in a way that reflects their usage. This concept is to ensure fairness and sustainability without overwhelming the state. Just like the surcharge to international students or foreign tourists, the Mughal Empire with its Islamic foundation had rules that reflected its diverse population. Muslim subjects were bound by Sharia law, which dictated not only religious practices but also civil matters like trade, inheritance, and justice. Non-Muslims, on the other hand, followed their own personal laws in areas like marriage and property, overseen by their community leaders rather than Islamic courts. The logic behind jizya and modern taxes. The Islamic imperial structure was clear. It was about treating the Muslims and non-Muslims alike by being inclusive and not by force. In the Mughal Empire, the jizya tax was a way to ensure that non-Muslims paid for their protection and services they received, and it exempted them from military services. While this distinction, some may argue that the non-Muslims were treated like foreigners, but on the contrary, it was more of a balancing act. If logic serves right, it was much tougher for the Muslims, who not only paid zakat and had mandatory military service, they were even not allowed to migrate to other kingdoms. Jizya was not an act of persecution, but a practical solution to ensure that the empire could continue functioning smoothly by shaping its economy, trade, maintaining a strong military, infrastructure, and public services, all of which benefited everyone living within the empire. In modern politics, these historical practices are misrepresented as symbols of division, religious intolerance, or oppression. The narrative of intolerance, particularly surrounding Aurangzeb's reign, has been amplified to service certain political agendas. When the British arrived in India, they painted the legacy of Mughal as an era of religious intolerance and portrayed themselves as the savior and liberators of the Indian people. Unfortunately, the jizya tax that was levied 300 years back has now been used by some as a tool to create narratives of intolerance, employing the same tactics of the British and securing their own grip on power. Let's just portray one part of the population as the victim and the other the villain. It's no longer about truth or justice, but it's about creating us versus them mentality, promote infighting, and ensuring people are too busy fighting each other to question those in power. Whether it's in the Mughal Empire or in today's world, governments charge foreigners higher fees and taxes because they do not contribute to the nation's resources in the same way as the citizens. Jizya, just like modern-day tuition fees or visa charges, was a system to ensure fairness and sustainability. Understanding these nuances helps us see that history, just like the present, is often more about practical governance than we think. So, the next time you hear about jizya, remember, it's not about persecution or intolerance. It's about ensuring fairness, just like the system of taxes we see today. The past is often more complex than we are led to believe, and the stories we hear are sometimes shaped by the narratives others want us to believe. Thank you for watching this video. Click the bell icon, like and subscribe.